buenas tardes, amigos. I just want to make this quick video to explain how grades are going to look for this quarter. Again, I thank you guys for being patient and know that quarter two will be a lot smoother. This is my first year doing proficiency-based grading, so I'm figuring out how to do retakes. But I'm hoping that this explanation will make sense and that we'll have like the next few days to make sure that your grades are where you want them to be and you have opportunities to fix them, and then we'll go into quarter two ready to tackle it. So this is just a random section. I'm in the middle of the grades here, and I want to show you what to look for. So this year, proficiency-based grading decided to do the most recent score instead of the decaying average. So what that means, in previous years, if you had the first opportunity, it would count as like 12% of your grade. And then the second chance to take it would count as like 25%. And then the third chance, hey, you've had 3 chances, this one's going to count most. It'll count as like 60 something percent. And then your grade is the average of those 3 attempts. What they decided this year is to just say, hey, whatever your most recent score is, then that's the one that counts 100%. And I even modified it further because what I want to do, at least for this quarter, for the sake of simplicity, is whatever your best attempt was on that standard, that's what's going to count. Okay. So looking at the top here of gradebook, you see NMINT1. If you see INT, and you can hover over these to see what the standard is, it's an interpretational. So you'll notice we've done interpretational 2, interpretational 3. A lot of can you understand or can you interpret what's being said to you in Spanish? That's been a big focus on quarter one. A couple of these other ones we'll go over in a second. So the first one, interpretational 1. We did the classroom phrases quiz, and interpretational 1, I can identify some basic facts from memorized words and phrases when they're supported by gestures. Now, if you remember with the classroom phrases, we had all the gestures that went with them, and we had some pictures with them. So when we did that quiz, that's what we were testing you on. So let's take this person, for example. They got a 3.5 on that first quiz. Okay. The second opportunity that counted was the written test from last week. You remember that there was a small section on classroom phrases that I had you guys take. So if you did slightly better, okay, this person moved up to a 4, and their grade for this standard is a 4. So even though this left-hand side shows a lower score for a lot of you, what's actually counting is the right-hand side. Now, let's take the person right below it. They got a 3.5 the first time, and on the test, either they got the same score or they got lower. And so me being kind, I said, we're just going to count the best one. I'm just going to slide a 3.5 over. Nobody is going to have a worse grade on the right than they did on the left. The most recent one counts only if it was better. So this person moved from 1 to a 2, 2 to a 2.5. Some people just got a 4 both times. So we have a little bit of everything. Okay. For interpretational 2, I can interpret phrases when they're in fictional texts. And so since I took the vocab words and I put them in made up sentences and I kind of supported them with visuals for those quizzes, that's what interpretational 2 is. Vocab from week 2, week 3. Again, so in this case, this is where, we were figuring things out of how we best do it to average them and how to have them count. What we decided on was to do the final vocab retake, which is on Canvas. And you can see my tab up here, final vocab retake. It is in Canvas. It takes you to, I'm hoping this will keep recording if I switch. So here it is. So here are the instructions. It takes you to Quizlet, and I have all the vocab from September in here. And what you'll do is on the left-hand side, hit test, and you take it as many times as you want so it'll have all the vocab from September. Take that test as many times as you want, and then when you're happy with your score, you submit it to Canvas. And what I will do in that case is I will actually replace those 2 scores, your score on that Canvas assignment. Okay, so that's what I'll do there. And I talked about that with you guys, I think maybe the distance learners, this is the first time you're hearing it explicitly explained. But it is on Canvas, so whatever you get there, I'll replace it. Oh, the retell the story. So a lot of you were still missing this. We did this. We spent 2 days on it over the quarantine. I remember I read that story about Kiko and his week. We were practicing days of the week and some of the basic conversations. And that second day, I said, okay, retell your own version. You do not have to memorize this. All I want you to do is have that story open, retell the story. If the links are on Canvas, have it open and just pick a few of the key sentences that you think give a summary and just read them and record yourself reading them to me. Sound confident. It's okay if you don't pronounce everything right. So that's the only standard that is on its own. But that assignment has 5 retakes allowed. So if you don't like what you got or you're missing it, please do it before Tuesday night. And this is, I can present on familiar and everyday topics with a mixture of practice to memorize words or phrases and simple sentences. So you're seeing the story. It's simple sentences. It's something that you can read and present at the same time. So that's how that works. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, guys, we have a few days until the grades are due. Everything that's in here is going to stay here, with the exception of the vocab. I'm going to put in that retake, which is optional, but I will put that in. So if some of you already submitted it, and quarter 2 is looking bright. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.